You're listening to
My Quebec City, 50 Plus Edition.
Hello, I'm Amelia from a secondary 5 class at Delors des Amours High School. This is the My Quebec City podcast, and I will be interviewing Kerry King. Hi, Kerry.
Hi.
Would you like to tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name's Kerry King, and I'm currently a retired teacher, but I started off my life here in Shannon. I went to school here on the base. The school at the time was St. Jeanne d'Arc, but it doesn't exist anymore. It's where the family center is currently located. That was the school. And then later went to St. Pat's and then to St. Lawrence. And then to go to university, as many Anglophones, I had to go to Montreal. So I went to Concordia and I did my bachelor's there. I thought I would stay in Montreal forever and ever. I even started doing a master's degree. And then I got the chance to come and teach at St. Pat's Elementary.
Is there something special about Shannon?
When I came back, everybody was so kind. Everybody I worked with, I worked at St. Pat's Elementary, I worked at Holland School, then here at DDO, and everybody was so great. And there was so many nice communities, as well as having my family at home. And raising my children in a nice small community, I thought how much better than having to be in a big city. It was, it was really great. So I got the big city life. I thought it was for me, but when I got back home, I thought, you know what? This is really what I really like. And I like the community involvement. I'm still involved in a lot of community activities. My parents were always involved in the community, so it was just, I guess, in my blood.
What do you do for the community?
So in the community currently, I'm president of the Catholic Women's League, a women's group. We do a lot of community service, a lot of volunteering, and we do a lot of cultural things. We organize the Shannon Irish Show. That show will take place this year on March 16th, and it'll be our 55th edition.
Wow.
We also do community service, like we put together the Christmas baskets for the needy in our community. We also started a community pantry, which is located at the library. I also got involved with the seniors' home in Quebec City. It's St. Bridget's Home, and that's where the English community goes when they're elderly. So I have a lot of, little things that I do on the side.
Yeah. So you're a teacher.
That's right. I taught for many, many years, that's for sure.
How many grades did you teach?
Well, I taught kindergarten in my first year and a half, and then I taught grade 1 for, probably 20-odd years. There was a grade 2 thrown in there for good measure. And then when I came to DDO, I taught grade 1 and 2, looping up with my students. I'd teach them grade 1 and then keep them for another year, so I had them for 2 years. And my last 7 years, I was the special ed teacher, or resource as they call it, and so I was helping kids who had difficulties.
Did you have a favorite group?
I started my career teaching kindergarten, and I thought, these are my kids. And then I was asked to teach grade 1, and I just loved them because they can do a little more than those kindergartners. Like, most of them can tie their shoes, they can get dressed pretty quickly, and they're really ready to learn. And I love to read. Children just love listening to stories. So grade 1 was probably my favorite grade.
Did you have a go-to story to read them?
I kind of got onto the Robert Munch stories.
Oh my
because,
gosh, I remember those.
So it made me think you could write about anything. And what Robert Munch always did was he would be influenced by the kids he saw or the ones he worked with because he was a daycare worker.
Do you have any children of your own?
I do. I have 3 children. They're in their 30s now. And they all graduated from here, from DDO. And then they went on to St. Lawrence and then off to university. They all went to Concordia and they're all working in finance or business.
Smart kids.
That's what they think. They saw all the work that goes into teaching. Any one of them would have been a great teacher, but it's not for everybody.
Well, what did you think of they had strikes and all that stuff?
I very much supported the strikes. I just feel that teachers need to be supported. As a teacher, you're here for the students. If you don't fight for the working conditions, that's the children's learning conditions.
Yeah, it's such an important job. People are always talking about the kids are the future, teaching the future and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. They sure are, because I look at my own children or former students. I run into former students quite often, and I would say, what are you doing? I'm a psychologist, or I'm a social worker, I work in business, or I'm at a bank, or I'm a welder, and they're all doing the jobs that need to be done. Yeah, teaching is a very important career for sure.
When you were a kid, did you want to be a teacher?
I did, and I thought that's all I wanted to be. When I started grade 1, I loved my teacher. I thought this was the best thing ever. Even in grade 1, I was helping other children learn to read. I would go home and I would, I had a little chalkboard and I would write on my little chalkboard. Sometimes I would come home and I'd say to my mother, "You're saying it all wrong. Today we learned how to write the word milk, but we always said milk." I said, "Mom, it's not milk, it's milk." Every little thing I learned, everything was so important, and I just loved it. All through high school, I helped other people with their learning, and I just couldn't help myself. It was the only thing for me.
Did you have a favorite subject when you were teaching?
I guess I probably had 2 favorites. I really liked sciences, like I liked introducing the kids to new concepts, and when they're little, it's very simple, it's things like dinosaurs and exploring fossils and things like that. We used to get different science materials like owl droppings. You could actually dissect them and the kids could put it apart and they would find the bones of whatever they had most recently eaten. I mean, I just found all that so fascinating. And I love teaching language. I just love teaching the children to read. It's so exciting because they start off and the parents are worried, "Oh, my child can't read. Oh, he's having trouble with this." And then all of a sudden, around March break, there would be a breakthrough, and I would say, "Don't worry, let's just give them a chance." And all of a sudden, it all came together. All those little things you've been teaching, the phonics, the sounds, putting words together. And I just thought that was just so exciting.
Oh, yeah. I remember I always had so much trouble trying to read when I was younger, and I hated it. But randomly, I stole a book from my grandma and read it, and I fell in love. I have over $3,000 worth of books in a giant bookshelf, and I'm obsessed. I always have a book.
That's fabulous. Well, I would have loved to have had you as a student. My last 7 years of teaching, I was a special ed teacher, and I worked with kids who were having difficulty. And one of the things I had to do was I had to do the DRA, Developmental Reading Assessment, with all of the students who were having difficulty. I would be so excited when a student had gotten up to their level or shown some improvement, and they were excited and I was excited. It's such a breakthrough. It opens such a world. You can really open a person's world to learning if they can read. I thought reading was just fabulous.
Teachers are always the people you remember. I remember all my best teachers and how the way they taught. Or one of my teachers, he had a rain stick and he would count how many times he had to flip it before we would all shut up.
Well, most teachers have some little thing, whether it's they go, 3, 2, 1, or they have a little bell, or for a little while I had a little ceramic bird, and you put a little bit of water in it, and then you just blow into it, and it would just whistle like a bird, and that was very effective. Kids really, really like that.
Well, I don't know about elementary because it's been a while, but in high school, it's all respect. If you respect your teacher, they will be able to teach and you will be quiet. Mm-hmm. And teacher has to respect you too, or else it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know, was it similar in elementary?
Well, I think everything is about building relationships. I mean, you have children who come in and maybe they haven't had good experiences learning. Maybe they're not happy at home. Maybe they've had loss or something like that. There's a wall between you and them, and they're just not happy. They don't want to be there. They don't like listening. They don't feel successful, even at a young age. And if you can just break down that wall, have a relationship. I used to say to people who would ask me, "How do you do that?" Because I remember having some really difficult children. And what I would say to people is try to find one thing that is likable about the person, one thing you like about them. Compliment it and try to work on that, and you can build a relationship. And then as long as everybody can find something you have in common or something you like about each other or something you respect about each other, you can have a good year.
Man, you seem really passionate about students and teaching. It's almost everybody wants to have their dream job and all that stuff, but not so many people actually achieve it.
Yeah, I mean, I can count on maybe one hand, if I can even use all those 5 fingers, days that I didn't want to get up and go to school.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and my attitude was, every day's a new day, and you just start it like that.
Yeah, I should keep that in mind. I'd be a lot less grumpy. So, you used to teach here, and I'm in my last year. Do you have any advice for a graduate?
You know, I always say to students, stay in school, even when it's hard, so I don't think I have to worry about that with you, Amelia. But what I would say is that follow your passion. You can do whatever you want to do. It might not be the path that you want to take. It might take a little longer, or things might happen a little faster. There's something for everybody out there, and I think if you just keep your mind on your goals, you can achieve them.
Oh, yeah. I hope I do.
I'm confident that you will.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for joining. It was a very nice time. I loved speaking with you.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and I really enjoyed it too.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Hope you had a nice time. See you at the next episode.